Our first speaker this morning is the Deputy Governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Please put your hands together for the Honorable Chuchi Fonacier. Morning, ma'am.
Yes. Good morning everyone. Students, my dear students, can I hear good morning? Oh, that's good. Good morning. And so the energy of the young people is radiating all the way up to here on the stage. I can feel it. And it's so nice, of course, for me to feel young again. And I know that the students came as far as Tuguegarao from the north, all the way down to the south, in Tago, I think, and even in Cotabato. Am I correct? Can I see the students from the north? Please? Do you have, where are the students from the north? Yes! Raise your hands! Alam niyo, you're very lucky, as what was mentioned by the President of Phoenix a while ago, Ms. Maribek Espano. You're so lucky because you'll have the chance of hearing from different speakers, and I'm also honored to be one of the speakers. A while ago, they have presented for the first segment, which is Government for the Youth, Secretary Eliseo Reyno of the ICT, and then of course we have Joey Concepcion of Go Negosyo, and a lot more. And in fact, all the way up to the afternoon, you'll be hearing straight from celebrities. So meantime, I think you just have to sit back and relax and try to really digest the messages of the different speakers. And also, I'd like to congratulate, of course, Finex and JFinex on their 50th founding anniversary. And thank you for also inviting me to be part of this really something, an event really that will touch also, of course, the lives of our students. And you know what? I'll also be speaking about or relating something because the venue is here in of course, the MOA Arena, which is known as the Sports Center. And it is but fitting that we will also include some discussions, and I can relate it to basketball. You know, di ba, Filipinos really love basketball? Also, you students love basketball? Okay, so we'll have some analogy of my message later that's something to do with basketball. And you may be wondering, what has got to do with BSP and basketball? But BSP is Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and of course, basketball is, there is some relation to where the BSP is also focusing, and also in basketball, you will know later that both business, basketball, Bangko Sentral, they have also something in common. You'll find it out later. So again, I'd like also to, of course, to relate to the students themselves looking for, as what Benny earlier mentioned, a direction as well. You have your direction, where you want to go. So later on, I'll also be touching on the direction of having a plan of your own. So for the next slide, of course, we want to state that the current state of financial inclusion. You know, maybe wondering why financial inclusion is important and why the students would, of course, embrace financial inclusion. You know what? Financial inclusion should really start from you, the students, because you are actually the future of this country. So, in terms of access, there really a lot needs to be done. There are 552 municipalities and cities that is still unbanked. And then for the usage, 48% of adults have savings, but 7 in 10 keep their savings at home. So I think it should start from you, dear students. 22% of adults have outstanding loans, but 4 in 10 obtain their loan from informal sources. So I think this is something very important because this will pave the way for you to be in the formal financial system. And so 88% of adults have paid a transaction, but still using cash. So 6 in 10 pay using cash. And 23% of adults with a formal account. So really, there's a lot of things to be done. For the next slide, of course, as I mentioned earlier, why is financial inclusion important? The case in point here that we are demonstrating is that it's really important to have savings. You may be wondering, or you may be saying, how can I save when my allowance is not enough? That's what you believe in, but of course, with your commitment and your decision to really save, that can be done. It might appear to be that way, but of course, with your willpower, I think that savings can really be achieved. And so, the basic needs is, of course, important. And that's where we spend most of what we have on the basic needs. But then we have to provide for emergencies. So that would lead to a good quality of life if we know how to manage our finances. And that's why financial inclusion is important, because it's the first step for someone to be informed on how to manage one's finances. For the next slide, what do we need to do? So again, as I mentioned earlier, Filipinos love basketball. And so, in this age of many disruptions, as we would say, some positive, some negative, we should be able to draw up a game plan. So similar to basketball, you have to draw up a game plan. Of course, improve skills by training and practice, and play together as a team. So right now, you may be wondering, which team are you in? So, of course, it would depend on the state of where you are in currently. As a student, you need to have, of course, you need to connect with other students, and that's where even in projects, there are groups. So, teamwork is really important. So, as what Benny earlier mentioned about setting direction, so it's important that you have to have a game plan on where you would like to go, because that would really define your future as well, because in preparing for where you are or where you would like to go, of course, that's where the improvement of skills by training and practice would go. So again, we would relate it to basketball. Of course, you know, everyone knows Steph Curry, di ba? Steph Curry is very good for the three-point shot, but paano siya naging magaling? Of course, it takes a lot of practice. And you might have already read that even in the practice of the team, of the practice of the team, he's staying on and still doing practice by himself. So same thing for us students, when we prepare for something, we really need to have practice and then of course enhance our skills. And this is where the next slide would say that for Michael Jordan, can you go back to that slide? It says, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. So that's for Michael Jordan. You have the talent, of course, you can win the game, a game or two or many games, but you will not be able to win the championship if there is no teamwork. And then you might be wondering, will intelligence be involved in basketball as well? Haven't you noticed LeBron James, di ba, pag naglalaro siya, sometimes after doing a dunk or whatever na shot na maganda, he would always say like that. Di ba, pointing out to that. Meaning to say, hindi lang yan skill, but even how you draw up or execute your play. So it takes intelligence as well. So same thing in your own life, as students, later on you will be choosing a career of your own, and then of course you will be preparing for that. But in preparing, of course, you have to equip yourself with knowledge. And that's where the importance as well of, like this one, participating in this kind of conference, in this, not just on a specific area, but you always have that hunger to learn and learn and learn. And so, with that, it's really important that, as I mentioned a while ago, on the game plan, and then prepare for your skills, of course, enhancing skills, and teamwork. And it brings me to the next slide, which is about BSP's strategies to achieve financial inclusion. So we started from the data measurement. You get to know where the unbanked areas are, and then of course you have policy, regulation, supervision, and this is where BSP has advocated and issued circulars and regulations allowing cash agents for banks. And then, of course, the basic deposit account. By the way, this basic deposit account, you can open a savings account with less than 100 pesos. No maintaining balance and no dormancy charges. So, students, this is your chance now to start saving. And then, of course, we have the National Retail Payment System. We have economic and financial learning programs from the BSP. As I mentioned, knowledge is important. That's why we have financial learning for unbanked, financial consumer protection framework to protect the vulnerable ones in the society who has just started entering the financial system and not yet so familiar about the way they will do their transactions. And also, of course, we have in the BSP the consumer assistance. For advocacy, we have the Credit Surety Fund, KIDI, the Teen Savings Accounts and Awards Program. So, like I mentioned, like what I have mentioned about coming up with a game plan, this is part, actually, of the game plan of the BSP. For our next slide, we now move towards digital financial inclusion. You know what? Diba kayo, you have your cell phones. So nowadays, you can do transactions using your cell phone. So as I have mentioned, the National Retail Payment System, there's the PesoNet, the InstaPay. So payment systems have been, of course, enhanced using technology. Now we have strong market conduct in all of this digital finance ecosystem, used to be with a physical network which is cash-based, but we're moving now to a digital financial inclusion with concerns also of strong cybersecurity, the risk-based know your customer, and of course, as I mentioned about the basic account, basic deposit account. For our next slide, we have other initiatives from the BSP that supports, of course, we now soon have a national ID system. The law has been passed and we are set to, meaning the different government agencies involved is set to come out already with the implementing rules and regulations or the IRR within this September. There will be a public consultation for this, and also later on this will be your first step to having an account in the formal financial system. It could also be an electronic type of account. And we have the Draft Payment Systems Act. This will govern the digitization of transactions in the Philippines. As I have mentioned, we have the National Retail Payment System. So this is also something very important which will increase digital transactions. We're hoping to achieve a 20% usage of digital transactions in the year 2020. From now, just about 2%. And of course, we'll have the Financial Consumer Protection as a bill, which will guide us in, of course, consumers being able to be protected, at the same time be knowledgeable as far as transactions are concerned. And so for the next slide, this is where, as I was mentioning, that financial education is really important. With a better informed public, it will result in better decision-making public, and this will also help you decide on which bank you would like to do your transactions. Also, better savings, assets, and use of credit. If one is well informed about financial matters, you'll be able to achieve better savings and better manage your assets, and of course, the use of credit. When you do, let's say, avail of a loan, you should be able really to use the proceeds of such loan wisely and productively. And it will redound, of course, to better economic and financial well-being. And that's why this is really important when we say financial education. So it's actually a first step. And this is where we appreciate Finex and JFinex for coming up with programs that would really educate our students, not just students, but even other sectors in society, the OFWs, government workers, teachers, soldiers, and the others. For our next slide, so financial literacy in the Philippines, this is from the World Bank Financial Capability Survey in 2014. The findings is that Filipino adults were able to answer 3 out of 7 financial literacy questions correctly. And of course, with this kind of results, we want this to be improved, and it will start really from you, dear students. So, of course, we're hoping that the 3 would increase and maybe to 5 and even 6. Right now, it's only 2%. That were able to answer all 7 questions correctly. So this is a finding that we really need to address, and it will really start from you, dear students, because you will soon be part of our, meaning managing our financial system, the future leaders of Business and Finance, and only 10% with zero correct answer. So we'd like this, of course, to be improved in the future, and this will really pave the way for our financial system to be better and more inclusive, because you would also encourage family members. So it will start from you. You will encourage family members to be part of the formal financial system. And for our next slide, this is what we have envisioned. A well-informed citizenry able to contribute meaningfully to economic development, and of course fully benefit from opportunities, is a more effective partner of the BSP in maintaining stable prices, a strong and safe banking system, and of course, stable as well and reliable payment system. So, for the economic information, BSP is also conducting education expos that will touch on topical economic issues, as well as BSP's roles and responsibilities. So, right now, you're at the right side there as the students. Soon, you will be in the left side on the workforce. And of course, there are sectoral groups, specialized groups, and the general public working together. And this is where we say that this is actually a teamwork for all of us. The BSP working together with the students, the other sectors of society, and we can achieve this if really we would work together and start that education from us, from each one of you. So there are lectures, briefings, the print materials, the on-site learning, exhibits and workshops, even videos and games, and even in Facebook. Later on, I'll be requesting you to do something about knowledge, about financial education. And so for the next slide, we had recent collaborations with the DepEd, and then we had also partnership with the Philippine Army. As I mentioned, financial education would not just be for students, and with OWA because of our overseas Filipino workers, and then DepEd for the teachers as well, so it's not just for students. So as I mentioned, the soldiers, teachers, students. So we have also the Comprehensive Social Benefits Program, which we are collaborating with the different agencies. Because, as I said, this is really teamwork. BSP cannot do this alone. In fact, we'd like to thank, of course, Finex and JFinex for having this kind of events that would really, of course, put forward knowledge not just on financial matters, but in a holistic manner. There's room for learning. You will not stop learning. So even myself, in becoming the deputy governor, at the start when I was still a bank examiner, so I have to equip myself with knowledge and continue to learn. So you will never really stop learning. And that's where, as I mentioned earlier, you have to equip yourself and be really ready to work on something new. So you will not say that you're not comfortable with something, but you have to adapt really to, like for example, technology. So you need to learn more and more about recent developments in technology. So it will not just be technology, but as I said, a lot other things that we need to learn. For our next slide, this is also, as I mentioned, the consumer assistance mechanism that the BSP has put forward is we have this contact information that you would reach out to the Financial Consumer Protection Department for any, let's say, situation that you have observed, like for instance, phishing, the credit card or ATM scheming, or the text scam. So as soon as you have information about these things, I think you need to contact the Financial Consumer Protection Department of the BSP, and the direct line is 708-7087. So it's easy to understand, 708-7087. Or an email you can send to consumeraffairs@bsp.gov.ph. So this is also a way to balance that sometimes when there is not yet enough information, you may be in a situation that you have been, let's say, compromised, or you've been victimized by the not so good scheming of other people. Then this is also a way for the BSP to address, and you have something to turn to or report whenever you would have a situation that you feel you need an assistance. So for the next slide, this is where I would call on you now to get your cell phone, and I think you need to look for the Pisolit on Facebook. So can you get now your cell phones, everyone? And go and look for the Pisolit Facebook. And of course, you would click the like. You like it, follow, and share. This is where I said that the first step that you can do for us to be really part of the team, if you're really part of the team, to now start this by liking the Facebook page of the Pisolit, follow, and of course, share. So, can you do that, please? Everyone, look for the Pisolit Facebook page, and then like, and of course, follow, and then share. So, again, this is a way for you to start your part, doing your part in the financial education by sharing and having this Pisolit on Facebook by the BSP. Of course, if you have with you, let's say you were able to have selfies of this event, you can post this on your walls using the hashtag Pisolit or the hashtag JFinex. So I think this is a way for us to be part. As I said, we are a team here, so if it's really teamwork, then we do our share. So can you do this, students? Please? Are you doing it now? Oh, really? Yes, thank you. So we're starting this one. But as what the others would often say, wait, there's more. So the next slide, wait, there's more. We'll have a Financial Education Expo come November of this year. And this is where we would be able to know who are doing what with whom. So this is something that we would connect with the other stakeholders who are doing as well financial education, and we would be able to reach out to them as well, who is doing with whom and what is it about. So it's something that other stakeholders are also involved in, and we would be having this Financial Education Expo. And so for the next slide, this is where I said that financial inclusion is a shared responsibility. So this is where I said that we should do our part, each one of us doing our share, because as I said, this is a teamwork effort. So we need to do our share, start by having an account. As I said, the basic deposit account can be a starting point, and then later on we'll have our PhilSys or the National ID System, which is something that we can really now use. Of course, to open an account, you would not have any hassle anymore proving or establishing your identity. So, in summary, this is really what I mentioned about coming up with a game plan, and then of course, building our competency, improving oneself by learning and learning, and of course, being part of the team, contributing one share to that team. So, now I will bring you to the next part, which is we have a national strategy for financial inclusion. And of course, the NSFI, for short, defines a national vision for financial inclusion, providing a platform for the public as well as the private sector to coordinate, converge, and have the synergy of efforts to achieve a shared objective. So this is where coordination, collaboration, and of course, raising awareness and understanding. And so, this is really something that each one of us can contribute. And for the next slide, this is where I need each one. As I said, we are a team. So, the E there was hidden. So it's actually together, everybody achieves more. So if we are together, we can achieve more. So at the count of 3, can we all say team? So please, everyone, at the count of 3, we all say team. So 1, 2, 3, team! So this is something that we can all achieve because we are all one in this together. And as I said, together and everybody, we can achieve more. So together, everybody achieves more, and that's team. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for your attention. And of course, we know that this is something that we can all achieve. So, thank you, dear students and everyone in this arena for your attention.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chuchi Fonacier. Pero ma'am, before we let you go po, sige po, dito po tayo. Ang ganda po ng insightful message nyo. Hindi lang sa sports, kumbaga also in business, in finance, that is team, and together, everybody achieves more. We will turn it over now to my co-host, Vince, I believe. May question ang isa sa mga ating mga students. Vince, are you there?
Yep, I'm over here.
Go ahead.
Kasama ko si Ms. Reneza. Ano school kayo galing?
We're from Dr. Filimon C. Aguilar Memorial College of Las Piñas.
Okay. Well, shoutout sa mga kaklase ni Ms. Reneza. Diyan daw sa taas. Okay, so Reneza na yung tanong dito.
So, Miss Chuchi, I just wanna ask, what would be the best strategy or way to convince or encourage students like us to be financially literate?
Oh, it's a very good question. As I mentioned a while ago, for you to be literate, you have to equip yourselves, diba? So, you have to formulate a plan. So, it's a game plan. It's something that you want to do for yourself. You have to have a goal. That's something that you need to set. Kasi kung wala kang goal, you will not be inspired, or let's say, you will not be prodded on to do something. And then, of course, with the knowledge, as I mentioned, comes, of course, your capacity to do something because you are already equipped. So by equipping yourselves with knowledge, and that's the fourth part of it is the financial literacy, is you would be able to achieve something. So start with having a plan, so let's say a savings plan for that matter. And then of course, in equipping yourselves, you have to educate yourselves about the different financial products. So later on, you'll move into something sophisticated products, but at the start, you'll have, of course, the basic one, savings, and then, of course, having a goal that you want to achieve, then it will, of course, propel your way to that goal. So that's why you would be inspired to have, or to equip yourselves by learning more. So the financial literacy is something that will help you in making as well your decisions later. So it may not just be something really grand at the start, but of course, it's the first step for you to be able to achieve that goal by equipping yourselves with knowledge, and that's the financial literacy. So you have to have a goal first.
Tama yun, sabi ni Miss Chuchi, kumbaga goal, then eventually the inspiration will be there, and then eventually, ikaw na yung matututo. You will research, and then eventually para maging literate, doon papasok yun.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Vince and Reneza. Okay, so right now we'd like to call on stage JFinex President Marivic Espanyo, JFinex Corporate Secretary, and JFinex Liaison Director Benny Sullivan, and JFinex Chair Dati Del Carmen to award a token of appreciation. Nandito ba tayo sa gitna? Isara? And once again, the Honorable Chuchi Fonacier.